Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment because this right here can save you years of heartache, confusion, and emotional exhaustion. I want you to listen closely. A person who truly loves you will ask you 2 questions, not 10, not 100, just 2. And if you don't hear these questions, you need to stop making excuses for somebody who is enjoying you but not valuing you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me slow this thing down and talk directly to your heart for a moment, because this first key point can change your entire understanding of love if you really hear it. Real love is revealed through sincere curiosity, not promises. See, anybody can promise you something. Promises are easy. Words are cheap. People say, I love you every day and don't mean a single syllable of it. But curiosity, genuine interest, that's different. That takes effort. That takes intention. That takes care. When someone truly loves you, they don't just enjoy your presence, they study you. They pay attention. They want to know how your mind works, what your fears are, what makes you smile when nobody's watching, and what hurts you when you try to act like you're strong. Love is not loud at first. Love listens. Love observes. Love asks questions not to interrogate you, but to understand you. You see, when a person is serious about you, they don't assume they already know you. They don't label you and move on. They ask because they don't want to mess this up. They ask because your heart matters to them. And let me tell you something important right here. If someone is not curious about you, they are not invested in you. They might like you. They might enjoy you. They might even be attracted to you. But love wants depth. A man who truly loves a woman doesn't just want to be around her body, he wants to be around her soul. He wants to know what she needs to feel safe, what makes her feel valued, what breaks her down, and what builds her up. He's not guessing. He's not assuming. He's asking, because guessing gets people hurt, but asking builds trust. Now, here's where a lot of people get confused. They think love is proven by how often someone shows up or how much time they spend together. No, time without intention is just time. You can spend years with somebody who has no idea who you really are. That's not love, that's habit. Love says, I want to know you so I can treat you right. Anything less than that is selfishness dressed up as affection. When someone truly loves you, they are curious about your needs because they plan on being responsible for them. They don't want to accidentally hurt you. They don't want to repeat the same mistakes you've already survived. They don't want to be another chapter of pain in your life. That's why they ask. That's why they listen. That's why they remember. And pay attention to this part right here. People who don't ask questions are usually the same people who disappear when things get hard, because they were never trying to understand you in the first place. They were just enjoying the benefits of your presence. Love doesn't consume without contributing. Love gives before it takes. Curiosity is a form of respect. When someone asks you about your boundaries, they are saying, I don't want to cross a line. When someone asks you what you need emotionally, they are saying, your feelings matter. When someone asks about your past, not to judge you, but to understand you, they are saying, I want to love you better than you've been loved before. It's love in action. Let me be very clear with you. If you find yourself always explaining yourself to someone who never asks, that relationship is unbalanced. If you are doing all the emotional work, all the communicating, all the adjusting, and they're just receiving, that's not love. That's you carrying something that was meant to be shared. Real love doesn't just want access to you. It wants responsibility for you. And responsibility starts with curiosity. Because how can I protect your heart if I don't know what hurts it? How can I support your dreams if I never ask what they are? How can I love you properly if I never try to understand you? A person who truly loves you doesn't get bored of learning you. Even after years, they are still curious. They still ask. They still care. Because love grows and growth requires attention. So stop measuring love by sweet talk alone. Start measuring it by interest, effort, and understanding. Because at the end of the day, someone who truly loves you will want to know you deeply, not just keep you close. Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you about this second key point, because this one separates people who are serious from people who are just passing time. A person who truly loves you wants clarity about the future, not confusion. Now hear me carefully, because confusion is not an accident. Confusion is usually a choice made by someone who benefits from keeping things unclear. When somebody loves you, they don't enjoy watching you guess. They don't enjoy seeing you anxious about where you stand. They don't enjoy holding your heart hostage with maybe someday or we'll see. Love doesn't play hide and seek with direction. Love understands that time is valuable. Emotions are fragile and hearts are not toys. A person who truly loves you starts thinking ahead naturally. They don't have to be pressured. They don't need an ultimatum. The question of the future comes up because it's already on their mind. They are asking themselves, can I build with this person? Do I see them beside me long term? And once those thoughts show up, love demands a conversation. Clarity is not about rushing into marriage or forcing timelines. It's about alignment. It's about knowing whether you are walking toward the same destination. Because two people can love each other deeply and still be wrong for each other if they're heading in opposite directions. Love that refuses to talk about the future is love that refuses responsibility. Let me say this straight. If someone avoids the future conversation, it's usually because the future they want does not include you the way you hope. And instead of being honest, they keep you comfortable enough to stay, but uncertain enough not to ask too much. That's not love, that's convenience. A person who truly loves you respects your emotional investment. They know that every day you spend with them is a day you're not giving to someone else. They understand that your heart is not on layaway. So they ask questions. They talk about goals. They bring up plans. Even if they don't have all the answers yet, they are willing to discuss the direction. Love does not say, why are you thinking so far ahead? Love says, let's figure this out together. Love does not say, let's just enjoy the moment for years. Love says, I enjoy this so much that I'm thinking about what comes next. And here's something a lot of people need to hear. Clarity does not kill love. Fear kills love. Immaturity kills love. Avoidance kills love. The right person will not feel threatened by your desire to know where things are going. They will feel honored that you are considering a future with them. A person who loves you wants to protect you from wasting time. They don't want you building dreams in your head that don't match reality. They don't want to benefit from your loyalty while giving you uncertainty in return. Love is fair. Love is honest. Love is brave enough to speak even when the conversation is uncomfortable. When someone truly loves you, they include you in their vision. You're not an afterthought. You're not hidden in the background. You're not excluded from conversations about tomorrow. They talk about plans naturally because you're already part of the picture in their mind. Now let me clear something up. Talking about the future does not mean everything is guaranteed. Life happens, things change. But love shows effort toward direction. It shows intention. It shows willingness. Silence about the future, on the other hand, usually means someone is enjoying the benefits without committing to the responsibility. If you find yourself afraid to ask where things are going, ask yourself why. Is it because you don't want to scare them away? Let me tell you something powerful. The right person cannot be scared away by the truth. If asking for clarity ends the relationship, then confusion was the foundation, not love. A person who truly loves you does not want you shrinking your expectations to fit their comfort. They don't want you pretending. You don't care about the future just to keep them around. They want you whole, honest, and secure. Love does not ask you to betray yourself to keep it alive. Clarity brings peace, and love wants peace for the person it cares about. When you know where you stand, you don't have to overthink every message. You don't have to decode behavior. You don't have to wonder if you're doing too much or too little. Love that offers clarity gives rest to your heart. So pay attention. If someone is serious about you, the future will come up. It might not be perfect. It might not be fully mapped out, but it will not be avoided. Because love that plans to stay does not mind talking about where it's going. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you deeper now, because this third key point is where love separates itself from attraction, comfort, and routine. Love that lasts always seeks understanding, growth, and responsibility. And I want you to really hear this because temporary feelings don't require growth, but real love does. When someone truly loves you, they don't just want things to feel good today. They want things to work tomorrow. They are not only focused on chemistry, they are focused on compatibility. They understand that love is not just about getting along when everything is easy, but about growing together when life starts testing you. Understanding is the foundation. A person who loves you wants to understand how you communicate, how you handle stress, how you react when you're hurt, and how you express love. They don't dismiss your emotions. They don't label you as too much just because you feel deeply. They want to understand you so they can meet you where you are, not force you to become someone else. You see, people who are not serious about love want convenience. They want you happy when they show up and quiet when they don't. But a person who truly loves you wants truth, even when it's uncomfortable. They want to know what triggers you, what drains you, and what helps you heal. Because understanding someone is how you protect them. Now let's talk about growth. Real love grows people. It doesn't trap them. It doesn't keep them stuck. A person who loves you wants to see you evolve, not remain small so they can feel secure. They celebrate your progress. They encourage your dreams. They don't compete with your success or feel threatened by your independence. Love understands that two whole people choosing each other is stronger than two broken people clinging to each other. So when someone loves you, they don't resist growth. They invite it. They are willing to work on themselves too. They don't expect you to carry the relationship alone. And this is where responsibility comes in. Love takes ownership. A person who truly loves you doesn't disappear when things get hard. They don't blame you for everything that goes wrong. They look at themselves and ask, what can I do better? They are willing to admit mistakes. They are willing to apologize. They are willing to change behavior, not just say sorry. Responsibility in love means understanding that your actions affect another person's heart. It means being mindful of your words, your absence, and your consistency. It means knowing that love is not just about how you feel, but how the other person feels when they're with you. A lot of people say they love, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with it. They want the benefits without the effort. They want companionship without accountability. But real love shows up even when it's inconvenient. It stays present even when emotions fluctuate. When someone truly loves you, they are willing to have hard conversations. They don't shut down. They don't run. They don't stonewall. They understand that avoiding issues doesn't protect the relationship. It slowly destroys it. Growth requires communication, patience, and humility. Let me say this clearly. Love that refuses to grow will eventually rot because people change. Life changes. Circumstances change. And if two people are not willing to adapt together, they will grow apart even if they care deeply about each other. A person who loves you wants to build skills with you, how to resolve conflict, how to support each other, how to handle disappointment, how to celebrate wins. They don't expect perfection, but they expect effort. Love doesn't demand flawlessness. It demands commitment to improve. Yet, and pay attention to this part right here. When someone loves you, they don't weaponize your vulnerability. They don't use what you shared in confidence against you during arguments. Understanding makes them gentler, not crueler. If someone knows your wounds and still chooses to hurt you there, that's not love, that's control. Real love creates a safe space for growth. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to perform. You don't have to walk on eggshells. You can be honest about your fears and still feel supported. That safety doesn't come from passion alone. It comes from responsibility. A person who loves you understands that love is a decision made over and over again. It's choosing patience over ego. It's choosing communication over silence. It's choosing effort over excuses. And those choices require maturity. So if you're dealing with someone who avoids growth, refuses responsibility, and shows no interest in understanding you deeper, stop calling that love. It might feel intense. It might feel familiar. But love that lasts is built by people who are willing to grow up, step up, and take care of the hearts they say they value. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this home with the fourth key point, because this one is the protector of your heart. The right questions protect you from wasting time on the wrong person. And I want you to listen closely, because time is the one thing you never get back. Too many people stay stuck in situations not because they don't feel pain, but because they ignore signs, they ignore silence, they ignore avoidance, they ignore the absence of real questions. And instead of seeing that absence as information, they turn it into hope. But hope without evidence can cost you years. When someone truly loves you, their questions reveal intention. They don't just show up emotionally when it feels good. They show up mentally. They show up spiritually. They show up with purpose. And purpose always asks, does this make sense long term? People who don't ask those questions are usually living in the moment and borrowing your future to enjoy their present. Let me say something strong right here. A person who is serious about you is careful with your time. They know that every day you give them is an investment. They don't casually accept your loyalty without considering what they are offering in return. That's why they ask the hard questions early. They don't want to build something on confusion only to collapse later. Wrong people avoid questions because questions expose truth. Questions force honesty. Questions force decisions. And people who are not ready to decide will keep things blurry so they don't have to commit to anything. They enjoy your presence, your attention, your care, but they avoid the responsibility that comes with clarity. The right questions act like filters. They remove people who are only passing through your life and reveal the ones who plan to stay. When someone asks you about your values, your boundaries, your expectations, and your future, they are telling you, I'm not here to waste time. They are saying, I want to know if we truly fit. And here's the part many people struggle with. Sometimes the right questions lead to uncomfortable answers. Sometimes they reveal that two good people are simply not aligned, and that hurts. But let me tell you what hurts more: staying in something for years and realizing you were never moving toward the same destination. Questions save you for emotional debt. They stop you from overgiving to someone who undercommits. They stop you from shrinking your standards to keep someone comfortable. They stop you from confusing attention with intention. A person who loves you does not want you building castles in your imagination while they are renting space in the moment. They want your expectations grounded in reality. They want honesty, even if it risks losing you, because they respect you enough not to lie by omission. When someone truly loves you, they don't wait until you're deeply attached to reveal their lack of readiness. They don't wait until you've sacrificed time, energy, and peace. They talk early, they ask early, they clarify early. Because love that is responsible does not lead people on. Let me speak to anyone who has ever stayed because they're nice, or they're trying, or they say they care. Caring without direction is not enough. Trying without consistency is not enough. Love that never asks real questions is usually love that never plans to stay. The right questions also protect your self-worth. They remind you that your time matters, your heart matters, and your future matters. They keep you from begging for clarity from someone who should be offering it freely. Love should not feel like an interrogation where you're chasing answers. It should feel like a mutual exchange of truth. If you find yourself always waiting, always hoping, always adjusting, and never being asked where you stand or what you need, is your answer. Silence is an answer. Avoidance is an answer. Lack of questions is an answer. A person who truly loves you wants alignment, not attachment. They don't want you holding on just because it's comfortable. They want you choosing them because it makes sense, because it's healthy, because it's real. So don't be afraid of questions. Be afraid of situations where no one is asking any, because the right questions don't push love away. They protect you from giving your heart to someone who was never prepared to take care of it.